Hey guys, this is Navdeep Singh Jetla. Welcome to my channel. I'm an immigration law researcher and I study cases of immigration and provide you information so that you can improve your intellect. Okay, let's start this case today. And this is an application of permanent residency for Canada and it got rejected due to some silly mistakes. Okay, we will see what happened. The applicant name is Tajinder Preet Kaur. Okay, and the applicant is aged 24, is a citizen of India. In April 2011, the applicant was issued a study permit and entered Canada to attend Columbia College in Vancouver when she completed a diploma in psychology in December 2013 after 2 years, and she was then issued a post-graduation work permit for 3 years. So the applicant worked at a Burger King as a front counter attendant from February 2013 until December 2013, approximately 10 months. And as a shift supervisor from December 2013 until April 2015, and then further for almost 1.5 years she worked as a supervisor. Since June 2015 she has been working for Milestones Grill and Bar as a food service supervisor. Okay, she changed her job, then she joined Milestones Grill and Bar as a food service supervisor. On March the 21st 2015, the applicant applied for permanent resident status as a part of provincial nominee program of British Columbia as a food service supervisor with Milestones Grill and Bar. She had an offer letter and she applied for the permanent residency under Canadian experience class. So on July the 13th 2016, the immigration officer determined that the applicant did not meet the minimum requirements for a permanent residence visa through the Canadian experience class, thus did not qualify as a provincial nominee. So the officer was not satisfied that the applicant met the requirements of paragraphs this, and the applicant did not submit enough evidence to show what duties, actions she had performed during her employment. So I'm not sure who filed her case. Maybe she tried everything on her own, I'm presuming that, and somehow she could not submit the reference letter, which is basically very critical to the process and which basically lists down all your duties and responsibilities and other duties. For example, your start date, your end date, your job title, your type of contract, then your annual income, your salary, and all other certain details which are very important, including the working hours as well. So that document is very critical to the process, as I mentioned, but she failed to submit. I mean, this is saying something very silly, I would say a stupid mistake. On July the 14th 2016, the applicant made a request for reconsideration of the decision and provided additional information on her employment. The officer decided not to use his discretionary power to reconsider the applicant's application. Well, because you have made a mistake, you did not submit the complete application, which means CEC clearly states on the website that you have to have these documents in place before you submit your application, and if you do not meet the requirements, they will simply reject your application, no matter, even because of very simple document, or for example if you're not submitting the translation document, for example, and if you're missing an affidavit, which is very a general document which you need to submit, and without that they're gonna reject your application. So in that case, it totally depends on the visa officer whether or not they're gonna use their discretionary powers to reconsider, because ideally it's the mistake from the applicant side, so it totally depends on them whether they want to reconsider or not. In this case, it is unlikely that they're gonna accept it, they're gonna reconsider it basically. So applicant filed for judicial review, and let's see what happens next. So the applicant's main argument is that officer erred in the law by ignoring the evaluation made by province of the British Columbia, and by which she was issued a provincial nominee certificate. Okay, so she is basically saying because she had a provincial nominee certificate, so that certificate also was issued based on the document that she had provided to the provincial office. All right, so she's saying the officer erred in the law, saying that the officer ignored that the importance of that document. And if the officer wanted to reassess her ability to become economically established in Canada, you ought to follow sections. So if the officer had any issue with the applicant's PNC, he should have consulted with the provincial authorities and issued the certificate I mean, this is something which is a story that they're trying to make up. Information is here. The respondent submits that there was no evidence before the visa officer that applicant performed the actions described as main duties of a supervisor. Nothing in the evidence established that she had the requisite 1-year skilled experience for CEC approval. So this information is very important. No matter if you're applying under federal skilled worker, if you're applying under Canadian experience class, it is very important. You have to have right documents in place, and these are very simple and very general instructions that are provided by CAC on the website. If you're not gonna follow that, they're simply gonna reject the application. And even if we're gonna file the judicial review, nothing is gonna happen, because eventually it's a very stupid mistake that the applicant is making. The respondent does not believe that there was a breach of procedural fairness because the officer was found no duty to give applicant an opportunity to complete her application. The applicant ought to have been aware of the requirements. So these are some GCMS notes here. When nominated under provincial nominee through express entry, she must also meet the program requirements for at least 1 year of federal immigration program, federal skilled worker program, federal skilled trades program, or Canadian experience class. The officer did not err by assessing the applicant as a part of CEC. The officer did not have a duty to inform the applicant that her application was incomplete, not to give her an opportunity to file all the required documents which had been missing with the applicant she had submitted. So the onus was on the applicant to establish that she met the requirements of the law, and she has the duty to send the complete application, which she didn't. So I think it was a simple case. That's a 50-50 chance that I would say, because it totally depends on the judge whether or not they're gonna accept your request and forward the application for the reconsideration. So in this case, they simply dismissed the judicial review application, and the applicant might have to apply once again with complete documentation. So the takeaways from this application or this case could be that always check the document list, whatever the document that you're required to provide. If you're not meeting the requirements which are generally asked by the visa officer with your peer application, you're gonna end up in a mess. And I wish you all the very best, and if you have any questions regarding this, please comment down below and we will discuss your case in detail. And thank you so much for your time.